Hare Krishna, everyone. Danavat Pranams. Welcome to this episode or this edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is, Bitesize Talks. As you know, here at the Hare Krishna Project, we are passionate about the Bhagavad Gita, and we're passionate about sharing the words or the wisdom or the knowledge found in the Bhagavad Gita with the ordinary, everyday Western public. And every month we produce these very short talks, these short presentations on the Bhagavad Gita, because we realize that for many people, the Bhagavad Gita can be sometimes quite difficult to digest. So what we like to do under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada is to present the Bhagavad Gita as it is, according to the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, with the Western public in a way that is presentable, digestible, and easy for us to consume and understand. And as you know as well, here at the Hare Krishna Project, we have a preference, a very strong preference for reading the 1972 Bhagavad Gita as it is. We also distribute original copies of Srila Prabhupada's books. If you look at our website, harekrishnaproject.org.uk, and click on shop, you will see that we only distribute original copies of Prabhupada's books. We don't distribute or read from anything that is post 1977. So for our third reading today from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, I'm reading from the 1972 Bhagavad Gita, Macmillan edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is, which was authorized by Srila Prabhupada. And I'm reading from chapter 3, verse 27. The verse says, or Lord Krishna says to his disciple Arjuna, the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities, which are in actuality carried out by nature. And A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's purport is two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and that is the symptom of his nescience. He does not know that this gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna in Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Harikesh, or the master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses and sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. Who here, who listening to this talk today has worried before? I have. We've all worried about something, whether that's a worry about earning money, worry about putting food or prasadam on the table, a worry about getting to a meeting on time. For those of you that have children, you're worried about your children, you're worried about them growing up, the types of people that they might hang out with or not hang out with. Many people are worried about the environment, worried about the future of the planet that we find ourselves living on. We all worry about something. It is, believe it or not, or whether we admit it or not, a natural part of our experiences in the material world. We all worry. But the Bhagavad Gita tells us and reminds us that we shouldn't worry. because it tells us, Krishna tells us that he is the supreme controller of everything. Now, for us in our very small, insignificant experiences in our lives, we all forget that on a regular basis. We all forget that Krishna is the ultimate controller. And that's understandable that we do that. There are all these distractions around us. There are things to read in the newspaper, things to watch on the TV, issues with family, issues with neighbors and friends. Our ego causes us to forget that Krishna is the supreme controller of everything. One word we don't often use in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition is shraddha, faith. We do use it from time to time, but ultimately, as practitioners of Krishna consciousness, we should have faith, or more faith, that Krishna is the supreme controller of everything. In the Vedas, Krishna says that he is the controller of everything. Not even a blade of grass moves without Krishna's say-so. The problem is we all want to be in control. Whether we admit it or not, we all want to be in control of everything. You know, there's that saying, man proposes, God disposes. That's absolutely true. We get up each morning, we'll have a plan for the day, and we get frustrated when that particular plan doesn't work. Ultimately, we are not in control. All these possessions that we think that we have, that we think that we own, we don't really own them. Krishna owns everything. The cars that we drive, the bed that we sleep in, the mug that we drink our drinks from, we don't own any of that. Krishna owns everything. He is the supreme proprietor of this universe and all the universes. We are not in control. We need to have, as practitioners of Krishna consciousness, more faith in the words of the Bhagavad Gita, more faith in Krishna's assurance to us that he will always look after us. We all worry, it's a natural thing. But when we do worry, we should try and step back, be objective, and recognize that Krishna is the supreme controller of everything. Everything in this material world is temporary. It doesn't last forever. The clothes that I'm wearing, I'll change them. They get worn and they wear out over time. And even the bodies that we find ourselves in, ultimately, the bodies that we find ourselves in will one day stop working. And who we really are, eternal spiritual beings, will go on to our next experience or our next life. As we're told, and as we're reminded in the Bhagavad Gita, is that we're not really in control. We think we're the doer, but we're absolutely not. Bhagavad Gita 3:27, Krishna says, the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities which are in actuality carried out by nature. We are not in control. We do not own everything. Krishna is in control, and Krishna owns everything. Hare Krishna.